This week on the Unamplified Podcast.
Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of the Unamplified Podcast. My name is Cynthia Mbamalu, your host. And you know, like I say, I always come with the energy. And today with me, we have our amazing co-host.
Hi, everyone. My name is Queen CY. I always come with the vibes. You know that. Welcome to the Unamplified Podcast.
Yes, and guys, it's a new year. I can't believe it's a new year already. Whoa, new year mode. Should we do like a new year kind of bump dance?
Yes.
Woo, feels good to be alive.
How did the year just pass by like that, 2023? How did it just go?
It should even be going. Because plenty things happened in that year I don't want to talk about. Let's focus on the new year. And today we have two amazing young women. When we're talking about people that are making things happen, we have them today.
Yes,
and I would like to introduce our guest. We have Annabelle.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. I've seen you guys everywhere on my social media.
Oh,
TikTok,
really?
Instagram, and it's so good to be here today.
Oh, thank you. Oh, see me blushing. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then I know you're a writer. You have a book.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about this book. In summary, the book is about how to help a basic good girl to heighten her sex appeal. Long story short, that's it. Oh wow! So the title is sex. I don't know. I heard about the title.
The title is the Sex Appeal ebook. Very simple and straightforward.
Sex appeal ebook.
Yes.
I will ask you a question around this.
I'm shy. I'm very shy.
You cannot be shy. You cannot
Wear
be shy.
glasses. I'm shy.
If you write a book called Sex Appeal, you cannot be shy. And we have another young, amazing, African woman.
Hello.
Yeah, Jemima Haruna.
Nice to be on here.
Yes, I know you also a freelance writer.
Yes,
like we have
I'm
two
a
writers
freelance
today.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So what do you write about?
I focus on mental health blogging.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm starting my own blog called Dear Fivers to help young people have more casual conversations about mental health.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. That's amazing. And you know, interestingly, we're going to be having sessions around mental health because I think this is something we don't talk a lot about.
I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah. And so the alarm is you're coming back now. You'll be returning guests already. We'll have to discuss. We have to talk about that because honestly, we can no longer shy away from conversation around mental health.
Yes.
Not just for young people, even for adults. Sometimes I meet some elderly people and I'm like, you need to think about your mental health. There are things you've not resolved.
They really sweep a lot under the carpet.
And those are the things that you start seeing reflecting later, and then you try to, how do they project?
But then you cannot
others?
bend a crayfish. Or what's that thing they say about bending crayfish that's already dry?
It's already dry.
Yeah, something like that. When somebody is already old, there are certain habits you cannot correct.
You cannot correct.
So,
True. Actually,
Kind of like the country teacher old dog new tricks kind of thing.
Yes, you can't teach true old dog new tricks. I think that's actually true. So today we're going to be having a generations conversation.
Okay.
It's not a battle because Queen CY and I, we belong to the millennials. Yeah.
As you can see, I'm wearing the antique clothes. The millennial clothes. I don't want to dress like Gen Z today.
Air high five
I
to you.
feel like you guys cornered us, but okay.
No, we were not cornering you. But it's like we're having an open conversation.
Okay.
So it's gonna be Generation Y, the millennials, Gen Z or Generation Z, which is where we have these two young ladies. And then the Alpha generation, we have no one from the Alpha generation.
They're babies.
They're still babies, But we'll talk a bit about them.
Okay.
And I know that in the conversation around generations, it's almost like if you go online, there's a period there was this battle between millennials and Gen Z.
It's always there.
Why do we have this conflict between generations?
I feel like it's mainly about fashion though.
Mainly about fashion.
Yes.
It has a lot to do with mental health.
Yeah.
Are you saying that millennials are crazy people?
I think
Are you saying that about yourself?
I think I'll agree with you. It has to do a lot on mental health because Gen Zs, people are
small thing. I should be standing for my people, right? But then I am really somewhere in the middle because it was just 1 year I would have used to cross to be a millennial. But as I found myself here, some things I'm seeing my people exhibit, especially in the online world, it's shocking. Like, how will you quit your job because of your mental health?
I feel like it's the opposite for me. I feel like
how so?
we are very similar in terms of mental health. It's just that with Gen Zs, we put our mental health first. You guys are more likely to stick to your suffering.
We bottle it up.
You're suffering.
We bottle it up.
Suffering. Exactly. Yeah. Once we see that this is not helping us, we're leaving.
People don't like stress.
It's not that. Also, yes, I don't like stress. I don't like stress personally.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not for witchy people, though, but let me ask you a question. So, does this tie into relationships now as a Gen Z? Any small thing, Ngwanu, I'm going, bye bye, adios.
You see, when it comes to relationships as Gen Zs, I cannot speak.
Why?
I'm not experiencing that factor.
Wow.
So there's nothing I can say.
As a millennial,
Yes.
what is your reaction? Supposing you find yourself in a place where you're being mistreated. As a millennial, what is your standpoint?
As a millennial, as if me personally, or should I speak for millennials?
On behalf of your people.
If I'm speak for myself, I don't have patience.
Okay.
Yes.
But if I'm to speak for millennials, millennials tend to like stay and endure. Let me just endure small and see what will happen, whether he will change or whether the situation will change.
Is the suffering I'm smiling at that I'm
That's the thing. But for me, I don't have patience. I move.
That's why I say what they say in a way.
Okay, so meaning when it comes to this, maybe there's no. Okay, what else do we have major conflicts about?
She said fashion.
Yes.
She said, I said mental health.
Yeah, mental health.
I think the question now goes to you people.
No, we ask you, you throw it back. This is what Gen Z like to do. That's the responsibility.
Gen Z.
Wow. You just push it.
No, but we have given two answers. You have not given anything. It has to be fair.
So what's the question?
Okay, so
she said,
yes.
What kind of conflict, apart from, you said fashion.
She said mental health.
What other conflicts do we have? Do you have with my people? Tell me.
Maybe for me is the way we view life, our perception.
How so?
So I have a younger brother who is 18 years old.
Okay.
So typical Gen Z, right? And you know, while in my growing up at home, you have chores you do at home, right? So we're 4 girls and the boy, he's the last, and we all gave him like major gap, like his immediate probably 11 or 12 years older than he is. Everyone had a time where you're supposed to wash mommy and daddy's car. You get to an age, your role is washing the cars at home, in addition to other chores. Now he gets to that age, and we're like, oh, you have to wash mommy's car. It's like, how much? He said first that this is stress. That's why are we asking a child to do this? Number one, you're 18, you're not a child. No, then he wasn't 18. Then he was still like I think he was 15 or so. Okay, he was in secondary school. So I was like, this is the age you wash the car. And it says, if I'm doing this, I have to ask myself, what is in it for me? And it's like, how much? And you're asking your mom and your dad, how much? Are you paying rent? Are you feeding yourself? And I just looked at him and I said, we all did this. It's a rite of passage. You get to a particular, you ask him to like clean in the house.
Yeah, that's
he now says, but you have to start thinking about being sustainable. Was this a livelihood sustainable? What was that thing he was saying?
But
and he wanted to use us to make money.
But then again, is he actually wrong? Because
is he actually wrong?
Wait, hold on. Let me get somewhere.
Okay.
Wait, calm down.
Okay.
In this day and age where any little thing, monetary value is attached to it. So if that's his way as a young person to make money, because at some point you're like, I cannot keep asking my parents for money. So the little things I can do that will bring funds to me.
So that's why that stuff about Gen Z and millennial. You see, Gen Zs are they are faster because of the social media. So social media from social media they've learned that people make money, like they make money fast, and they want to make money faster than their age. That's the problem. Gen Zs want to make money faster than their age.
When you were that age, how did you make money?
When I was that age, I was not thinking of making money.
Why?
I was just thinking of let me go to school and just enjoy my life. And then I was not thinking. I was still like, anything I want, I'll go and ask my mom.
Companies will rush you when you graduate.
That was our mentality now. we were thinking that they told us that
companies not rushing us, but some of us thought when we finish, we will be rushed. But sadly, we were not rushed.
Yes.
But maybe I will even look at Jemima now because I'm asking because my point is that sense of like within the family, there's as a child in an African society, I'm not using the words because cultural differences and all, but African societies, we know that you have chores. Some homes may not be washing. I'm just saying that was one of the examples in my home. Like you get to a particular age, you're the one that you wash the cars, right? and you do it with joy. I enjoy doing it. If I used to make mouth that I was
Did you
the best.
really enjoy doing it?
No, for me, it's one of my role as a daughter and a child of the house. It was like I'm contributing to the family. And that's how a lot of millennials, so because you're thinking around, at home, you expect to do, so your mind, this is how I contribute to the family. But for Gen Z, it's like, what is in it for me? Not, I'm a child of the house. Okay. I'm contributing my own quota to the family that is not necessarily financial. So I want to ask you.
You said there's an age gap between. It's the same thing in my house.
Yeah.
There's I think the one before me is like a 7-year age gap.
Okay.
Oldest is like a 20-year age gap.
Wow.
Okay. That's a lot.
I was that child. I'm still that child. If for me to do something, you have to tell me why.
We have to tell
you have
why.
to pay me.
Really?
They still pay me up to now.
To do things like what?
Anything that is stressing me, you have to tell me why.
God.
If it's going to stress me, why am I going to do it? There are some things that I will do because, let's say things like cleaning and cooking. I do it because I like it. I like things a particular way.
Okay.
So I know that I can't even say that. Okay, let me not do it because I'll be the one to complain later.
Okay.
So I like to do those things. But if it's anything like washing car, no.
Okay.
For me, is no. Why am I washing the car? Somebody else can do it. You can.
So you are the last child.
I'm the last
Yes.
born.
Okay.
And so she almost is in the same context with my younger brother.
Yeah.
But most of they keep saying things like, I feel misunderstood in this house.
That is true.
That was me as well.
That word.
Has he packed his load to be going at some point?
Oh yes. You did it too. So at one point it was too funny. The guy went, packed his bag, he said he's leaving the family.
Did you? I want to believe every person.
And then he wrote this long
has done
letter
it.
to us, and it's like he realized that he's no longer.
It's like for Gen Zs, as long as it's not.
If it doesn't suit us, we go.
But where are you people going to?
Thank you. Where are you going to?
We don't know yet, but when we get there.
I had that experience when I was like 14. I told my cousin, you know what, this house is not favoring me again. She too, in her house, she was like, Ene, we need to leave. And then on a Sunday morning, when everybody was in church, we packed our bags. I went to her house. How far now? Are we still going? But then we realized that we're actually hungry and we did not have. And then we decided to not run away again. So, but I want to believe everybody had that time where they felt like they needed to run away from their houses.
Yes, even
maybe
as
your
a
family
kid, there were times I
frustrated you.
had that feeling, but it did not mean I packed my bag.
Did not act on it.
I mean, I was raised by, my parents are probably, will I call them baby boomers? I'm trying to place them in the right generation now.
Okay.
And of, the way they raised us, my mom and my dad. My mom is a bit more strict than my dad.
Okay.
And sometimes she would just, when my mom decides to flog you, be like, God, why? And sometimes she's just like, do this, do that. I'm like, why do you want us to, can't we rest? But it never in my mind occurred to pack my bag and move.
Me,
It's just like,
same here.
Mommy said, do this.
I have a
we just have
question
to
for
do
you.
it. Yeah.
Mine is it's just like I'll just be asking myself, are you sure they're my parents? But
Yes.
I've never like thought of
Yes.
carrying my bag or leaving the house.
I have a question for
Yes.
you. You mentioned that your mom was more stricter than your dad.
Yeah.
How did that affect you as a child? And right now, do you think that you will be that way to your child? That's
a very important question. Not really with my child, because now even with my brother, I'm not the way I engage with him. I also try to let my parents understand, because you can imagine my parents are baby boomers and this boy is like Gen Z, so you can imagine the conflict we go through.
A lot.
Like my dad most time, when my mother's like, I don't understand. I raised 4 girls, I did not go crazy. Just you. I don't know where I'm failing. I'll tell my dad was going, and I'm like, calm down. You need to understand, this guy is totally a different generation from us.
Yeah.
So just from my brother's experience, I know I'll be different with my kids, right?
Okay.
Because with him now, we're learning to talk more, to have conversations with him. He's in the university, and one day he calls, it's like he's just he woke up, his mood is down, having mental, this mental illness, then he can like to throw this mental health, like doesn't feel like going for classes. He's just like wants to be in his room, and he just needed someone to talk to. And I'm sure if you had called my dad, my dad would be like, you don't want to go to classes. I don't understand. Why did I send you to school that you don't feel like going to classes? You're wasting my
school
time,
fees,
right?
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, let's talk. And then we had like long conversations, So now I'm learning that with him, is the shouting and this get out, scolding, and even all of those things, they don't work. In fact, they will just make them close
I have
up
a question
more.
for
So
you.
it's to just have So if you ask me from him, I'm learning that, okay, with kids, I need to talk more.
Yeah.
My mom, like I said, was strict. Now we're more friends. When you get older, now you become friends, right? So now we talk and we just like mother and daughter. Sometimes like almost like she's my older sister. Aww. But when we were kids, I was when I hear my mother's voice, when she comes back from work, when we hear her voice, everybody's arranging. You think he's a general that's coming back, you're sorting, keeping everywhere clean. When you go to school, you don't come back with second position. And you know your parents is like, the person that came first, they have 2 or 3 heads. And then your holiday is messed up just because you did not come back with the right position. Yeah. So now I think about it, my approach with my kids not necessarily be the way my parents raised me. Yeah.
So the question is, do you think most Gen Zs, or should I say all? No, let me use most. Let me not generalize it. Know the meaning of mental health issues? Maybe anyone they say my mental health.
That's another stereotype. Actually,
do you think that they know the meaning,
or is it just
they just use the word?
I think that word is really overused, and it's greatly overused because you do not know the gravity of the word itself. Supposing you're complaining about mental health, I want to believe that even you yourself, there are things you're doing that are harming your own mental health. But because you have this idea of projecting that problem on other people, oh, my mental health, I can't deal with this right now. Hey, my head, like, it's really overused. So if people actually calm down to understand, and then there's another thing that I've noticed. Any little thing now, I do not know the authenticity of the truth, but any little thing now, oh, I have ADHD. My ADHD is not allowing me to do this. My ADHD is...
Attention deficit disorder.
I feel like...
There's no word you will not bring.
I feel like that word, sorry to say, but there are people who have personal issues and they blame it on, oh, sorry, I have ADHD. I can't do that right now. Like... Calm down and really understand that there are people who this is actually they've actually been diagnosed. So you're personalizing it and being all crappy because, oh, my ADHD. So long story short, I feel that word mental health is greatly overused.
Mental health may be overused. It's just because people don't really understand it. And that's where I think we should look at our education system. Because it's not just us, like in Nigeria or in Africa, is a global thing when it comes to the education system. If you see, like they were talking about 4th graders, people in primary 4, that their reading skills are in like primary 2 level or even less than.
Really?
That the things that people are learning in secondary school now, like they can't even do, let's say angles that we're learning in JSS1. They can't,
Why do you think that is?
It's because of the level of education we're getting. And I was going to bring back to when you say Gen Z is getting involved in government. How are they supposed to get involved in government when they can't even understand basic maths? They can't read at a basic level. They can't comprehend what they are reading. They're just taught to cram information. They're not taught to process information.
Understand.
There's an overload of social media and there's an overload of television and this and that. There's so much that is coming into us. And if we have that basic education, we could at least understand it. But because we can't understand it, how are we supposed to even, like, as people use the words mental health, because we're just overloaded with everything.
Yes. So you made a very important point. I've never thought of this from this perspective, because actually you were born into the whole, how will I call it? Expansion of social media, and it's the
internet age.
Yeah, the internet age, and it's been evolving so far. Later I'll talk about Generation Alpha, who are literally born with a laptop. I think the picture of Generation Alpha is a kid, a baby, literally an infant with a phone or a tablet. How many kids even get to experience outdoors, right? And when you talked about overload of information, it just made sense to me, because you're on several social media platforms. Every day there's content coming at you, but then there is classes, then there are books, and then the education, the quality
of education is
the quality of education. It's almost like people were not investing in reviewing curriculum to even understand the differences with this generation and how the patterns of education needs to evolve with them.
Yes.
And I think that's a conversation we need to actually start having. That patterns of education needs to start evolving to meet the context, or to suit the times that we currently exist in. And that is even how are we teaching the Gen Z. I thought Although, when you talked about it, I remember my grandfather had just Form 6, which is what you would call Form 6. Is it what you call
Primary
just
6?
Primary 6.
I think it's what you call Primary 6.
It's Primary
I
6.
need to check it out. But so that was the most education he had. He was a police officer. But when I read books, things he wrote, his handwriting alone, it was like the Form 6 of that time was almost equivalent to people going to get post undergraduate programs, right? And it just made me realize that perhaps as generations evolve, we're not reviewing curriculum to ensure that we are maintaining quality or building upon quality, but also reviewing our curriculum. People are built to survive in the time that they live within. And I want to bring the another question, and it's simple because we'll get into the governance conversation soon. What do Gen Zs want? And this for people. I'll start with Jemima.
I simply want a work-life balance, an actual work-life balance, where I don't have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I don't have to be stressing myself too much.
The way you're talking about stress.
Stress is a main thing for me. Because think about it now. To afford basic things, you need a lot of money. Sometimes you need to work a lot. Gen Z, even like, let's say content creator. You're a content creator. You are working almost 24/7.
And that's very true.
You're working so much. Where is the time
it.
for exactly? Where's the time to have a life? They expect them to still be social, come outside, play, have a house, have a family, have this, have that. But you're still just trying to get basic savings in your account. You cannot even afford a proper apartment, monthly food,
the money
everything.
you're saving ends up saving you.
Exactly. So I just let's just even start that at the bare minimum. Work-life balance is what we want. We want to be able to say that, okay, we have this career, we're doing okay at it, we like it, and we can still do other things. We're not overwhelmed, we're not overstimulated in our jobs, in our lives, at the same time with social media and just technology in general.
Yeah, okay. Work-life balance. Ene?
I think that everything you've said is very is very correct, because it's, yes, we want work-life balance, but then how achievable is that? Because by the time you're like, oh, okay, let me drop my phone and connect with my family in person, something else comes up and you're back to your phone. You can't just stay, even millennials, it's not even a Gen Z problem. People find it hard to keep their phones. Just keep your phone and connect. Keep your phone and just be present. It's extremely difficult. So as regards to what we want, even if we say this is what we want, how achievable is that? How yes, content creators and all of that, you're working 24/7, but the thing is, you enjoy it so much. For myself, at least for myself, whenever I go out, I mean, I'm living my life, but then it also so happens that I'm just creating the content and all of that because I enjoy it. So everything she said, long story short, work-life balance, that's what we want. I think that's what everybody wants, as a matter of fact. It's not a Gen Z thing. Yeah. What do you want?
I wanted to ask her, what do you want?
Yeah, everybody wants that. But for millennials, we are used to the work. Let me say that. But although we need to rest, but we're already used to the work. So now we just want to involve ourselves more on other things. We want to still work more. We want to involve ourselves in things happening in our society. That's where we want to see ourselves.
For instance,
we want to be heard.
Yeah. Okay. Heard how?
For Gen Z, let our voice. Let this is the boomers generation. So that they will hear our voice and know what we want.
You want to be heard in work or in society?
In society, in general.
Okay, that's where I think what's it called? Corporate social responsibility comes in. I feel like you guys also you're very into corporate social responsibility like us. I feel like Gen Zs were very quick to cut off things that, let's say, brands that pollute a lot, brands that are not sustainable. I think that's where we're doing a very good job. All these brands were very quick to cut, and that's where you guys now put it into where you work. You work for places that like your values. Okay, is this more family orientated? Is this more socially orientated? I feel like that's where we kind of mix. We're very focused on our values. You cannot change us in that way.
Okay. Focused on values.
But we can bend our values.
We bend. We're open-minded though. Gen Zs are very open-minded.
Are you?
Yeah.
To some extent.
Because if there's any generation that can quit and leave, Gen Zs can quit. And it's not working. We're done. It's not like, okay, let's see how we can review to make it work. Like, we're done.
What
right?
do you want?
For me, I just want to be heard and I want to make an impact or create impact wherever I am, right? And so I could be in a situation that is not so favorable, but if I think that I'm contributing and adding value, and if I believe that what I'm adding can change the situation, I would bear the challenges and the stress with it. Because for me, it's the bigger picture. So I always do this, like, what's the bigger picture? Okay. Right? And I think for a lot of millennials, they could be with a boss that screams and, that is a horrible human being. But in their mind, it's like, what's the bigger picture? Yeah. There's somewhere I want to get to. This is the person that will help me get there, or this is what will help me get there. I will take the rubbish and get there, right? So I think for millennials, for a lot of them, it's like, you grow up with, this is what I want to achieve. And it's not going to be easy. I will deal with all of it. Okay. As long as I get to achieve. Well, I feel like for Gen Z, it's like, this is what I want to achieve. But if you put this in, I'm done. I can always change my goals. It must not be this. I feel like that's where we have a bit of a difference. Did I answer your question or whatever? Yeah, and then I'm bringing it now to issues of governance. Did you vote last in the general election?
We tried.
We
tried.
Did you voted?
I did struggle to get my, what's that thing
PVC?
called? Yeah,
was this the first time you voted?
It was the first time, and it was. Sorry,
what was your experience? Yeah.
It was because I saw somebody's WhatsApp status. The person posted something that, if you do not vote now, in the next 8 years, you'll be so and so age. And that age was a very big age in my head. So I was like, okay, I need to at least exercise some type of, okay, I have this right. I'm going to let us exercise it. And then I went above and beyond to make sure that I vote.
Oh, that's good. Well, did you?
We tried.
You tried?
We were there till midnight after being rained on for...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it happened in you guys' side, but in our side, in Lokogoma area, it rained for like 2 hours.
Oh, Lokogoma area. I think that was where we had some locations when we were voting as late as 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in some place, polling units.
They're wet, hungry, tired. 12 midnight, I said I couldn't again.
Wow. So they never got to your polling unit?
They never, I think they were still on batch A on 200 or something. I was still batch B.
So okay, that's to collect your...
To vote.
Okay, to vote.
Yeah, they were still...
Wow.
It was a very bad situation in my polling unit area.
I know Lokogoma has like lots of overcrowded polling units with large numbers. I remember some polling units because I was on live TV during the elections and channels was covering this was 4 a.m. I see that period, I know they sleep. We were on TV all through the night. And then the person was reporting they just finished voting. I'm like, wow, those voters, I always salute for you because it means they had to deal with a lot of hardship to be there. But so now, how can we get, because I know these elections, general elections in Nigeria sort of affected how even young people view the electoral process. For some people, I know after the election, people were like, I'm not going to participate again. I'm not interested. Things didn't work out the way I thought it would. Someone like you probably... You said I went through a lot of stress and yet I didn't even get to vote and all of that. But we know that we can't talk about development without having a better democracy. And we need to think about the future because at the end, younger people have longer years to live. These older guys in government, most of them, in the next 10 years, they're out. 10, 15 years, they're out. Meaning the future of this nation basically would be determined by this generation of both millennials, Gen Z. And so how can we get more young people interested in governance and even in supporting democracy?
Social media.
How?
You need very good marketing and you need to make it something relatable, like TikTok and TikTok, like TikTok dances and all these things. You need to find a way.
Dance about governance?
You need to find a way to make the topic interesting to them. Because if you think about it, a lot of Gen Zs are young, very young. You also have to think about the fact that we went through a pandemic. A lot of our youth was wasted in the pandemic.
Valid.
It was wasted for me. Started pandemic at 21, left at 24.
Valid.
So So let's say Gen Z is now what 27 to 11.
Yeah.
A lot of them are still babies. They don't even understand. They're not being taught about government properly in school. So they don't even understand what's going on when they even leave. So they are trying to learn these things by themselves. So you have to create on social media like easy to read and understand websites, posts, and everything that's going to engage them so that they will want to learn more about it.
And be included.
Yeah.
So that they want to be included.
Exactly.
Already, like prior to this year, the idea I had of government was something that is extremely boring and hard to understand. When they start talking about numbers, I see all these old men. What are you people doing here? So it's like, when I started becoming interested in it is when I saw, younger people championing the cause and like making it seem like something that I as a young person can relate to. So I think moving forward, like Jemima said, is to make it somewhat like something I can relate to. Don't come and be telling me or reading newspaper to me why the president,
So we should not put information in newspaper. Is that what you're saying? We shouldn't put it there.
I'm trying to say is, like she said, social media, like people have short attention span because of the rate at which content keeps popping up. Every minute something new is popping up. So make it something that is attention grabbing on the social media platform that you're using. Something that is really interesting that would pique my attention within the first 5 seconds that I look at it. Like, I mean, there are so many ideas out there, but long story short, capitalize on social media, make government fun, make government look like fun, and then you have the youth chipping in.
Make government fun.
Okay.
Quincy, where can we make government fun?
I don't know how to make government fun.
One way to facilitate that is that they should also include Gen Zs and millennials into the government setup. Like, you can't have old people telling me what to post on social media. Post this write-up, this long write-up. Who will read it? So incorporate young people into those setups, and then you would have, they can now be able to relate to the people, the crowd that you want them to relate to.
Yeah, so I was just, because when you said making the content fun, making it interesting and engaging and leveraging those channels of communication that young people are familiar with, especially for the Gen Z, because they are the next generation. The millennials and Gen Z, we still there somehow. And I was just thinking, if you were to give an advice to, let's say, the president, let's say you just met President Bola Tinubu, and you were to give him an advice, what would be that advice you would give to him?
Incorporate young people into your government. Incorporate not all these old women and men. What are they doing for us?
The women might have few safe. Now still men. A men show. Incorporate young people into your government.
And listen to them. Take their advice.
Listen to them.
Yeah, so that you know these grassroots things as related to them. Yeah.
Take the advice, listen to them.
It is, I would say, not very nice. I'm trying to turn it into...
Don't just say it, just say it. Say it. As long as it's not insultive, say it.
That's the problem.
Freedom of expression.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Actually,
my friend, it's a democracy.
We think it exists, but really it doesn't exist.
And that
there's a limit to it.
It's just an idea.
It's just an idea. So what does democracy mean to you? Maybe I should even ask you that. What does democracy mean to you?
I think
freedom to choose.
Freedom to choose.
Yes. Who your leaders are. Because thinking about, I don't know. I'm still trying to understand government right now, but I don't think we actually properly get to choose who our leaders are.
Really, it's enforced.
Yes.
It's actually enforced.
We are just given a set group of people and pick the lesser of the evils. Even if there's no lesser.
Wow. Set of people and you have to pick the lesser of the evils. Is that what you think too?
That's very valid.
That's very valid. So what does democracy mean to you?
It's supposed to be being able to choose who you want and then having your voice heard, not something forced down your throat.
Yes.
Being able to choose who you want, having your voice heard, not something forced down your throat. Also connecting to the freedom of choice.
Your right is part of your choice.
How can young people participate in government?
Which age group particularly are you trying to... But you have to think there's younger Gen Z, there's older Gen Z. We're two different people.
Let's start with which category do you fall in? Are you older Gen Z or younger Gen Z?
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle. So speak for your category.
Millennials.
Another one.
There's a micro generation. There's a micro generation called Millennial.
All right. So, speak for your constituency. The ones, the Millennials you represent.
For me, what I consume more, and I think what I'll consume easily, is post and blog articles, easy to read. Because there are some terminologies that I have to, when I start having to Google, it already takes away part of the engagement factor. If you can make it easy to understand, even use illustration as well. I think that's something that's very good. I've been seeing a lot of people use illustration to promote businesses and causes. That's a very good. Try and use visual factors. Use even if it's like a drama. Ask the most stupid drama you can do, then tie it back to governments. It's going to work for me. But if you're just there telling me, as you said about these old people talking, the situation of the environment, and they never really say anything. It's just always roundabouts.
Wow.
I'm never really hearing anything that you're saying.
Okay. Maybe I'll ask probably my last question. Do you still believe in democracy?
Yes.
Yes, this is the frame yes for you. It's like you want to think about
Is it in Nigeria?
So democracy as it ought to be. Our democracy is still very young and it's still developing, and this is not what it should be. This is not the democracy I want. This is not the democracy I want. But I still believe in democracy. No, so do you still believe?
To some extent, I do. I'm one of those people that subscribe to the idea that Nigeria can actually be great again. Yes. Albeit how messed up it currently is, I believe that it can still be good.
You believe that Nigeria can still be great?
Yes.
Oshe, she even had to raise her hand to say, yes, I believe. And you talked about you don't like the idea of suffering and smiling. You know, Fela had actually accused us years ago that every day my people, they inside the suffering and smiling. And it's almost like this is what is becoming normalized. And I think this is how Gen Zs are saying no, like, hey, don't normalize this. We don't like the stress. And millennials are saying, they suffering, no, but we can work hard to smile without suffering. We're rounding up the conversation, but I think listening to every one of us here, one thing, I'm glad we still believe in the idea of democracy, but it's also about reviewing how we engage. Well, you said something about education. I think both of you mentioned the quality, the content, and even governance. We don't teach civic responsibilities. We don't teach things around democracy and even governance, even our history in schools. And so how will they participate if nobody has taught them on what they need to know, right? Even for me, I mean, yes, I'm in the space where I do a lot of work and development. I think a lot of them was self-taught. I wouldn't say anybody taught me this in school, right? Gradually you just have the interest and then you build your own capacity. And I'll think for every young person, if you've missed the opportunity of being taught, then maybe you should start getting aware yourself or building that information or getting the information yourself. Because the truth is, like I said, we have a longer time to live in the world. We really need to know what is happening in government. We need to know what these guys are, what laws they want to pass. Because we'll just be here one day, we'll just say that they passed one law that says we cannot smile outside again. We'll now be like, when did that happen? So we also need to be aware and conscious of what happens. And it's a call to both millennials and Gen Z. We can't leave it to these old guys. We have to, get involved, learn, and ask the right questions. But for the Gen Zs in the room, there's no I think when we're talking, we just have little areas of divergence.
Yes. Yeah.
We almost have similar things.
Actually, me too. That's why I said before that
you want to chill. You want to chill.
I'm stressed. I'm saying, see me now. See me. I should be a babe.
Baby, live a baby girl lifestyle.
Nobody likes stress.
When you talked about we want to chill, if we have a system that works, maybe it will help us chill better.
Exactly.
Right? And maybe that is what we need to start demanding from government. Like, we need our system to work. If the system works, we don't need to hustle so hard to earn so much to afford the lifestyle. It means with your basic salaries, you can afford the basic amenities. And so at the end of it all, we bring it back to governance. Ladies, it's been amazing. But I need to bring you guys back for another episode. Because I feel the conversation, we've not... we didn't delve into we just this like an introductory, like when they say 101 for those who want to invest in Nigeria, just 101. This is like 101. We just started, but we're going to have a lot more conversations because I really think there's a lot of misunderstanding between the two generations. But beyond that, the larger society also, because most of them say young people. When they say young people, they mean both Gen Z, Millennial, Gen Z. There's also a misunderstanding about young people and what young people want. So we'll have more conversations about that. Plus, I know you wrote a book. We'll bring you back to talk about this book because I'm curious to know what it is about. Yes, and Jemima, I know you're a writer. If I'm looking forward to reading one of your blogs.
Thank you.
Yes, and probably bring you to have a conversation around that. Yeah. And thank you so much for giving us your time, Jemima Haruna. It's been a pleasure having you on the Unamplified Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, our Ene Annabelle.
I'm glad I was here.
Yes, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. I'll leave it to Quincy White to shout out to our audience.
All right. What generation are you?
Exactly.
Please let us know in the comment section. Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to follow us on all our social media platforms. And also listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yes, thank you. You guys, the audience, our listeners and audience, you're the reason we do this. So please keep coming back to the show. Let us know what you think about today's episode. Shout out to our guests. Say hi to them if you want to say hi to them. And remember, keep a date with us every Wednesday. We bring you interesting content. And we have people behind the scenes. Can we shout out to our guys behind the scenes?
Shout out to Fredcoker, our cinematographer. Shout out to Drexx, our producer, to Ifeanyi, also our cinematographer. Shout out to Hamilton, our director extraordinaire. Shout out to Ayomide, our social media strategist. Shout out to Andrea, our co-host. And shout out to Chi,
the cool one. Yes, we're going to connect her virtually soon. Yeah. And to Samuel, Folorusho, and Cynthia Mbamalu, who help us with a lot of creative designs. Thank you, guys. And ladies, when you're on, you're amplified. Cheers to Africa.